9:40 a.m. 1/2/2018. Good morning, people. Happy New Year. Myers didn't get his confrontation with his accuser or accusers, whichever one it was, singular or plural. That's just one of the many things not right with the way they did us. Namely, right now, the way they did him, because it's still done to him. He's still in prison. You know, all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't undo this thing. And you see what it has dominoed into online. Just Google CPS. That's not for Chicago Public Schools. That's for Child Protective Services, which I found out when I got some hired help over here, like last year, is what they had been calling it out in California. And so when this person that was helping me found out that I also called them that because I was asked, you know about that? And I was like, well, yeah, it's everywhere. It's permeated into my daily SERP online, on YouTube, and lots of posts and groups on Facebook and beyond. So, but he didn't get to confront his accuser, which I know is just totally berserk. Why? And the reason I gave earlier was because they didn't want it to mess things up for them. Or they would have said, sure, here's a court schedule for that, you know. But no. Everything totally bonkers with this thing. And at first, I was like, man, I'm just nuts. This is just... I was beginning to believe, after several years of the struggle, that my mother and John were right in saying it was all in my head. Because I kept hitting a brick wall with it. You keep hitting a brick wall with your searches, trying to get your understanding ironed out. So many times, after a while, you'd give up, right? You'd say, psh, they're right. This is going to go nowhere. We're hitting a wall with it. I must have imagined it. It's just my bad. Sorry. It's all in my head. You were right. But no. The more I found out, the more I dug into it. Clear back into as far as 97. Okay? And as time progressed, with the more I read, even back when I was on Simpleton Web TV, you know, didn't have the desktop computer set up like I have now. Okay, wouldn't have dreamed of it. That didn't happen till 2 or 3 years later, when I got tired of a 64-bit connection through my landline. Come on. But the more I delved into it, and the more understanding I gained on it, the more easily I typed in a search to more focus what I wanted, and would get those hits like crazy. You know, your search term has a lot to do with how good your search is. You know, in case you haven't gotten that far. I even spent a lot of time on different search engines and realized there's specialty search engines and this search engine and that. And I won't go too much into that right now. But once you get the right search engine and get on the right search track, get the right search query typed in there, the more delighted and the more happy you will be with your results. Let's leave it at that, okay? he didn't get his confrontation or his face-to-face. And even when my mom went to get a visit set up with her for my then 6-7-year-old son, 6 or 7-year-old son, who still was as baffled as me in part of how all this could happen. And he needed little answers too for his little head. And so they wanted to make my mom jump through even more hoops, which right now is making me mad, even all this time later. Let's make Ann jump through another hoop. You can't visit unless you get Mel Carnahan's permission. This is how hateful these people were. And my mother was very, very charming. She had a lot to be charming for and about. Of course, I haven't got that amount of charm. I may have at once had a good start on having that much charm, but they since have axed me down and stomped on me so many different ways. I'm lucky to be able to keep a civil tongue in my mouth as much as I do. Okay? I've heard some of these people going through some of this stuff, and they are, every other word is a cuss word, and I can appreciate that as a matter of expression and your freedom to do so. But my 12 and 12 stated, you stay calm, you try to talk with a clean mouth, more people will connect to you in doing so. Not run off the clean people with a dirty mouth just because you have a dirty mouth and you don't care about clean people, or, you know, give it a chance, right? Clean up the talking. You don't have to be belligerent to get your point across. And I may have to go into another one on this, because here we are almost 7.5 minutes into it. That's half my video right there. So, but the thing was, I wanted to talk last night about how his daughter had made a complete and utter pet out of him. And anybody with any kind of sense would realize, and it wasn't a hostage type situation either, we'd go up and leave her, that you don't make a pet out of someone who is harming you. When you're away, you figure out more ways to stay away longer, or to stay away forever. You know, like when she went to visitation at the commune. Excuse me, but that would have been the most appropriate time ever to bring this thing up if it were real. And this is just part of why I'll never believe it was real. Okay? I've done a lot of research on these things, and that's just one more drop in the bucket to say that he is in there wrongly, and she accused him wrongly as a fake. She is a total and utter fake. I thought this morning I ought to contact her mother-in-law on the phone and just find out how much she actually knows, what that girl went through and what she did not go through. Because a lot of it, like I said, she has made up. She has blown stuff out of proportion. And there's people like myself. We're still trying to get stuff out of our psyche that goes clear back to our daycare days when we were little bitty kids. I might have to wait for this one old gent to actually die before I am allowed to get back there, even in my own thinking. Because I get so keyed up and hypervigilant and stuff like that, that I can't sleep and just let my guard down. My God. I don't want to have a nightmare trip and this kind of thing, waking up screaming with paramedics standing over me because I slipped back into there without having a safety set in place. I want to take my little look at it and come back and be able to write about it. Not slip in there for a matter of a nightmare period of time and find out the hard way from the neighbors. Oh, you woke up screaming. You dozed off on your deck and you woke screaming about this one, that one, or the other one and what they were doing, some of the things you were saying. My gosh. I don't want that. That itself is scary to me. And here I am getting older, all this time older, and I'm still not allowed to go back there. And part of the reason is I can't let my guard down. I've got to guard up when I sleep. I'm not going to think about this, that, and the other thing. I say my little prayer for God to keep John and I in his little bubble with Jesus. And that's just it. You know? (11:11) came and went like that. Okay? His pet, her pet. Not the other way around. Her pet. That she went back into that house after she made her report. I've got to go back in and check on my pet. I got to go see about my pet. I've got to go in and see what my pet's up to. What's my pet doing? I got to. Even though we just got it known as some kind of horror house, by golly, I'm going to click my little heels right in there and go see about my pet. You get where I'm coming from? I am not being sarcastic. I'm being as real as the sun and moon and stars, okay? When she's up there at the commune, even for the extended stay of 6 weeks, why didn't any of this come up? Even before that, before we went to the divorce decree modification hearing, there was a hearing because we went up there and then they met us at the courthouse for the scheduling, or for the, to make the appointment, to be at the appointment. And after the modification, she rode back home with us. But meanwhile, it was a plan. You will do this long of a time. I believe it was 6 weeks, but I can't swear to it. You will do this block of time. At the end of this block of time, you will return home where this will be discussed before we go to divorce decree modification hearing. All right. Where is that discussion that says, Mama, I do not want to go back there. I don't care that we don't have this, that, and the other like they have in town. It's just not worth it to me. My personal well-being is more important. I'm not going back. So please, leave the modification alone. You be my primary caregiver. You maintain where I live. I don't want to go there. And even if she didn't stay in Sedalia, she had 2 grandmothers and a grandfather up there within the area. I don't know how nearby. With all the comforts of home. All of them. Phone, TV, electrical. Probably even had internet. And 2 aunties. And a couple of cousins. So it's not like I either live in this hellhole of a commune with nothing but rags and slave labor, or I go to Sedalia and live with my dad where I get raped every day. It's not that. She had a choice. Thanks for watching.